Eli Carter had dreamed of one thing since childhood: to work for Aurelius Technologies, the biggest interplanetary engineering company in the Milky Way. It wasn't just a company, it was a symbol of progress, peace, and power. Their shimmering towers stretched above the clouds of New Avalon City, the capital of human-alien cooperation. For a poor kid from the dusty colony of Rhea, 9, even stepping through those glass doors would mean victory against a lifetime of impossibilities. He had studied nights under dim streetlights, repaired broken mining drones for free, just to practice, and saved every credit to buy a ticket to New Avalon for the interview. This was his one shot, and he wasn't going to miss it. The morning of the interview, the day began like destiny, calling his name. Eli wore his only clean shirt, patched but neatly pressed. The sun glowed golden to the megacity's misty skyline, glinting off the anti-grav taxis rushing past. He practiced his answers quietly, clutching his digital portfolio, the small holographic pad that contained everything he'd ever built. As he crossed the skybridge toward the Aurelius Tower, his heart raced. He imagined the boardroom, chrome walls, alien executives, maybe even humans who had started just like him. His future sparkled before him. Then came the sound that changed everything. A metallic crash, followed by a sputtering hum, echoed from an alley beside the skybridge. Eli paused, frowning. A ship, small, round, almost elegant, had landed awkwardly between two buildings, its undercarriage smoking. Blue plasma leaked from a ruptured conduit. Beside it, a figure in the hood struggled to lift a heavy repair panel. Eli hesitated. His interview was in 20 minutes. He could walk away, pretend he didn't see. But something in him couldn't ignore the sight of a stranded traveler. He sighed. Of all days, the broken ship. Eli jogged toward the ship. "Hey, are you all right?" The hooded figure turned, a tall alien with pale turquoise skin, eyes like molten gold. His robes were regal but travel-worn. The alien's voice came out calm but strained. "I require assistance. My propulsion coil has ruptured." Eli blinked. The design was unlike any ship he'd seen. Sleek but old, like something handcrafted rather than manufactured. "That's a quantum coil burn. I can fix it if you've got tools." The alien tilted his head. "You're a mechanic?" "Trying to be," Eli replied, rolling up his sleeves. "Let's say I'm between opportunities." Without waiting for permission, Eli slid beneath the ship. The plasma leak hissed dangerously close to a power line. "You're lucky this didn't overload your reactor." "I was aware," said the alien softly. "Time was against me." "Yeah, time's against me too," Eli muttered. The decision. Minutes turned into half an hour. Eli's shirt was stained with grease. His hands burned slightly from the heat of the plasma torch. He reconnected the flux stabilizer, resealed the panel, and adjusted the energy lattice until the hum evened out. The ship's core lights blinked steady green. "There," he said, exhaling. "Should hold." The alien's golden eyes glimmered. "You risked your time for a stranger." Eli wiped his hands. "It's what anyone would do." The alien's gaze deepened. "That is not true." Eli glanced at his watch, and his heart sank. He was 40 minutes late. The interview was over. He laughed bitterly. "Well, guess I blew it." The alien studied him silently, then stepped forward and offered his hand. "You have my gratitude. Human, what is your name?" "Eli Carter." The alien bowed slightly. "You have a kind spirit, Eli Carter. The stars remember such acts." Eli forced a smile. "That's nice of you to say, but the stars won't pay rent." With that, he picked up his bag and left, trying not to think about what he'd just lost. The aftermath. Aurelius Technologies didn't reschedule interviews. Eli knew that. He tried anyway, standing outside the tower until the guards politely asked him to move along. The receptionist had smiled apologetically. "We had one opening this cycle. It's been filled." He went home that evening to the cramped hostel, where he was renting a single cot among a dozen others. He stared at the ceiling, the hum of traffic above echoing like a reminder of failure. He'd made the right choice, he told himself. He helped someone. That had to count for something. But kindness didn't buy a future. A week later, Eli began repairing hoverbikes for local couriers to earn credits. It wasn't glamorous, but it kept him alive. Every night he replayed the what-ifs. What if he'd ignored that ship? What if he'd made it on time? He didn't know that the same alien he'd helped was watching him closely. On the 7th day, as Eli finished repairing a courier drone, a message pinged on his hollow pad. From Aurelius Technologies Division X. Subject: invitation to interview rescheduled. Eli blinked. He hadn't applied again. The message included coordinates to a private dockyard, far from the city center. Confused but desperate, he went. The hidden dock. When he arrived, a sleek silver ship hovered above a platform. The same ship he'd fixed. It gleamed now, fully restored, surrounded by engineers and guards. As Eli approached, the air shimmered, and from a ramp descended the same turquoise-skinned alien, dressed now in ceremonial robes adorned with Aurelius's golden insignia. Eli froze. "Wait, you?" The alien smiled. "Yes, Mr. Carter. We meet again. I don't understand. You work for Aurelius." The alien stepped forward, his presence commanding yet gentle. "I am Aurelius Venner, founder and chief architect of Aurelius Technologies." Eli's mind went blank. The man he had helped, the stranger he'd sacrificed his dream for, was a dream itself. "I disguised myself for the journey," Venner explained, "to observe the human colonies without interference. My ship failed, and you offered help without knowing who I was." Eli stammered. "If I'd known, you would have acted differently?" Venner interrupted softly. "Then I would have learned nothing." The test of character. They walked through the hangar, past engineers adjusting control panels. Venner's voice echoed. "I built this company not to reward brilliance alone, but compassion joined with skill. We have enough clever minds. What we lack are good hearts." Eli's pulse quickened. "Are you saying?" Venner turned to him. "I am saying that you passed a test no exam could measure. You will begin tomorrow as an apprentice engineer." Eli was speechless. "Sir, I don't know what to say." "Say nothing," Venner replied. "Just continue to be who you are. New beginnings." The following weeks were unlike anything Eli had ever known. His small workshop in the lower decks was replaced by laboratories filled with floating holograms and alien machines. He learned faster than he thought possible. Engineers, human and alien, treated him with respect because Venner himself visited often, always with a quiet smile. Word spread of the boy who fixed the boss's ship. But Eli never let it go to his head. He stayed late, helping others, just as he'd once helped a stranger in an alley. One evening, Venner summoned him to his office. It wasn't just an office. It was a room overlooking the galaxy itself, the stars reflected in polished glass. "Eli," Venner began, "what drives you?" Eli thought for a moment. "When I fix something broken, it feels like I'm fighting the universe's chaos, like I'm giving hope shape again." Venner nodded slowly. "That is precisely why you will go far. The bigger picture." Months passed. Eli's designs began to attract attention. He invented a microreactor that cut power loss by 20%. He presented it nervously at a company summit, and Venner personally applauded him. But beyond technology, Eli noticed something deeper. Venner wasn't just running a company. He was building unity. Humans, Thalians, Vexri, all species worked side by side. It wasn't always easy. Prejudices lingered, tensions simmered. Eli often remembered how he judged Venner first, thinking him just another lost traveler. Now he realized that every act of kindness, no matter how small, carried the weight to shape galaxies. 1 year later, the anniversary of that fateful day arrived quietly. Eli stood again on the same skybridge, staring down at the alley where he'd first seen the broken ship. He smiled faintly. Guess missing the interview wasn't such a loss after all. A familiar voice spoke behind him. "Sometimes the universe reroutes us to the right destination." Eli turned. Venner stood there, hands clasped behind his back, his eyes glimmering with quiet amusement. "You knew I'd come here?" Eli asked. "I suspected," Venner replied. "Humans have a fondness for reflection. It's one of your better traits." They stood together in silence, watching the twin suns sink below the skyline. Venner finally spoke. "Do you regret it? Helping a stranger, losing your chance?" Eli smiled. "If I hadn't helped, I'd probably be designing someone else's dream. Now I get to build my own." Venner's golden eyes softened. "Well said." Epilogue. Years later, when Venner retired and the board named successor, few were surprised when the title passed to Chief Engineer Eli Carter. He stood on the same stage where legends had once spoken, addressing thousands of humans and aliens across the stars. "I once thought opportunity meant being in the right place at the right time," he said. "But sometimes it means stopping for someone who needs you, even when it costs everything. Because character, not ambition, decides who we truly are." The crowd erupted in applause. Somewhere in the front row, the old alien smiled proudly. Above them, the Aurelius logo shimmered across the heavens, a symbol of hope built by two souls who were met by chance and proven that destiny favors the kind.